All right, YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. This is Cobbs with the Parlay Parlor. It is Thursday, February 26th, and we're back with another NBA slate. Took a break yesterday. Again, we'll go into further detail with the review, but I just didn't feel right with the smaller slate, even though I only give 3 to 4 props on any given day. After the performance from Tuesday, didn't feel right just trying to go back into the ether and throw darts at the board. Took a day off, let the mind reset, and to do decent when I take a break and come back afterwards. So hopefully that thought process applies today. 3 props on the agenda today. We are going to go with Stephen Castle. We're taking him for his 22 plus points and assist, currently at minus 120. We're going to take the Portland Trailblazers on the full game spread against the Chicago Bulls. We're taking the 5-point spread at minus 105. And we're going to close it off with the New Orleans Pelicans. That spread is a 4-point spread, and that is at minus 125. All of these odds are currently on the score. If you have a different book in your area, just be aware that you're probably going to see a minus 130 on Castle. The spread will probably still be intact for the Trailblazers, but for the Pelicans, this spread is now juiced to like minus 135 on all other books. It's pushed now to 4.5 if you don't mind taking that, which I will go into further detail about, which I honestly don't mind. But with that said, let's have a brief recap of Tuesday night. 1-3 night. Unfortunately, I didn't filter this out with the oh shit, let's go all the way bottom. My bad. I couldn't ignore Jabari Smith from Monday night, but in any case, Tuesday we had Donovan Mitchell, 3 threes, 5 assists. Tyler Hero over on his points and rebounds, and Emmanuel Quickly under on his PRA. Only 1 for 3 on this one, 1 for 4 technically, even though one of these was considered a same game parlay. Quickly, even then, I think he ended up on like 23 PRA and 23 or 24. And then Raptors kind of came back towards the end, but it really wasn't necessarily in doubt. Could have just gone with the under rebounds, ended up with 3. Tyler Hero, he had 13 points and 1 rebound. Started amazing in the first half. Then the Bucks just came back. He came back late in the fourth quarter, but just couldn't get much out of him. And then Donovan Mitchell, completely bad read. I think I prefaced in the video that I wanted to take Harden, but the Knicks matchup with Allen would just be a little too tough. Allen, another double-double. Harden, wow, he didn't dime. I think he only got 4 or 5 dimes. He scored a plethora of threes. I think he had 3 threes. Mitchell went 2 for 7 from 3, got 4 assists exactly. So double hook on there. 1-3 night, call it 1-4, but I guess 1-3 honestly. But not the best. 1-2, 1-3, 1-4. It was a losing day. Total record for the week now is 7-9. So unfortunately, to avoid another losing week, we do need a sweep. Haven't had a sweep yet. Again, it's not about sweeps; it's about long-term profit. But I do want to have. I would like to avoid back-to-back weeks of losing more than I want. We'll start off Friday's video with a recap of this of the bankroll. I have been logging exactly to $5 units. Again, I'm a $15 bettor, so it will look a little bit different for me personally. But we'll do a recap, kind of a state of the union tomorrow for the week, and then we'll start off with Friday's video. With that said, let's get started. Our first prop today, Stephen Castle, over 21.5 points and assists. We have the Spurs on the back-to-back, but they're taking on the Brooklyn Nets. We already have a spread, which I think in itself is 12.5 spread already. This gets beaten by a blowout. In terms of the matchup, we have a Nets team in general, which, yes, the supporting data, he's going to play a de facto shooting guard or the point guard when Fox isn't in the equation. But at the same time, they're really kind of a middling defense. Across the board, they're a poor defense, which is why their record is so bad. And there was something interesting with Stephen Castle, even though that this is kind of big blowout risk. He's still a developmental piece in this Spurs team. When the game gets a little bit out of hand, you're not going to see the likes of Harrison Barnes or Wemby or even Darren Fox be overextended as much. But the likes of Dylan Harper, Champagny, Castle, Vassell, they get a little bit of a run out, especially in the term in regards to Castle and Vassell, since they're still trying to develop them. And we still have Castle where he's still trying to figure out this two-way guard, of course, in the long term scheme of things. Of course, Darren Fox. I mean, he's still young, but I think going forward, the plan will be in a couple seasons for Stephen Castle to be that focal ball handler. The supporting data for this is if primarily we're talking about a massive spread here. If we look at games this season where the Spurs have won by 12 or more points, Stefan Castle has covered this line in 74% of games this season. If we want to look at the exact number, he's hit this in 14 of 19 games this season. He's typically blowout. I don't want to say he's blowout proof. Nobody is blowout proof because we need to put another filter on it. In these 5 games he hasn't played, played 15 minutes, played 29 minutes against the Lakers, but that was the day that Wemby just went Will Chamberlain on them. 12 minutes against the Lakers again. Well, no, this is the game that Will Chamberlain went crazy on him. That Wemby went crazy on him. 21 minutes against the Warriors, 21 minutes against the Suns, and then 25 minutes against the Kings. Again, relative blowouts and all of these. If we want to filter this into, let's give him at least 27 minutes. This comes out to 89% hit rate. If we want to maybe condense it down to 23, still 12 out of 14 games this season. The matchup is there for us. The only thing that beats us again is unfortunately a blowout. If we go over to props madness and we see Stephen Castle where he likes to do the majority of his scoring from, I mean, this is a prop that I've taken before when he's played against the Mavericks. Very versatile scorer, can facilitate in the pick and roll if need be, but at a very minute rate. Actually, if you look at that, only 18% of his points come from the pick and roll. Spot up guy, transition, will attack the rim, can shoot at the break, not at a consistent clip that I like. But again, he's only shooting 20% of his shots from there. He's attacking the rim. And we look at how the Nets like to defend these positions. Yes, above the break, they are a little bit good at defending the three, but at the same time, I wouldn't be too concerned about this because Castle isn't the only factor in this. If they do want to decide to guard Castle for the entire game, that's going to open up spots for Wemby and Vassell and Fox to come in and play their own role. In which case, hope the court will open up for Castle. The similar players that have played the Nets recently did have me a little bit concerned. But when you look at this, the sample size isn't very consistent. Again, then this is props madness suggested on similar archetypes of this player. I mean, we have a Jaden Ivey who is still trying to figure out his place on the Bulls. We have Jaden Ivey when he was on the Pistons and getting even fewer minutes. Jeremiah Fears, who at the turn of last month wasn't getting consistent minutes. Ryan Rollins, that was when Kevin Porter Jr. is back. And when we look at positions, still Max Christie, we have a team in the Mavs that are tanking. NWA, Neil Alexander Walker, Nikhil Alexander Walker. Again, the Hawks aren't really tanking, but there's a lot of cogs in that Hawks team. You have Jalen Johnson, you have a Kongawu, Dyson Daniels. There's a lot of ways for the Hawks to score where it typically isn't Walker. The only player that I would maybe kind of attribute a similar matchup to would be an Anfernee Simons, who, funny enough, did we take Anfernee Simons? Yeah, we took Anfernee Simons last week. But with that said, I mean, when we look at challenging matchups, this isn't really something that phases Castle. When we look at, and hypothetically, the Nets are a decent team when it comes to defending the shooting guard position. He's hit this in 11 out of 16 games this season. If we want to look at the pace, if it's a slower game, yes, it does look a little bit concerning, but it would only be it's only concerning if the team with the slower pace is in control, and that shouldn't be the case at all this season. I mean, this matchup with the Nets. We look at defensive rating. I mean, 70% hit rate. Again, I don't want to filter this out way too much. If this is just within a normal game of means for Fox, I mean, 22 points and assists, yes, is a blowout concern due to it being the Nets, but hopefully he is the reason it's a blowout. I mean, it's 2 points under his season average. I mean, why don't we take it? It's a volume play. I mean, he didn't see that many minutes against Toronto. I mean, he played 27 minutes, but he didn't play any of the fourth quarter. Um, Typically in spots like this, I've said before, the Spurs kind of like to rotate who that primary ball handler will be. One game is Fox, the next game is Castle. Last night we saw a lot of fourth quarter Fox. Funny enough, I was watching NBA without betting on it. I think we can watch sports every once in a while without having some money on it. But definitely from what I saw from the game yesterday, I have no doubt as to why Castle would not play or not see his ample amount of minutes. The only thing that would beat this, again, blowout concern or two, which wouldn't be as bad because we'll just get a void, in which case is if this is a rest day. But this wasn't particularly I mean, it was a great comeback. I think it was a 15-point comeback in the fourth quarter by the Spurs. They might be tired out, but at the same time, I think we have a team that they're still trying to assert themselves in every way, shape, or form in the regular season to create that momentum for the postseason. Okay, our second prop for today. We're going to go with two spreads to close it off. The first spread, we're taking the Portland Trailblazers minus the 5 points against the Chicago Bulls. Again, yes, we do have Josh Giddey back in our live getting regular minutes, but until I see something from the Bulls to show that they're trying to rebuild or make something like cohesive of this season, I have to assume they're punting many of these games. I mean, 10-point spread across the last 10 games. They've only beaten this one game across the season. Yeah, but last 20, it's sharp downturn from the days of when Vucevic and Giddey was healthy and Kobe White. When crazy that the Bulls were pushing him out there with a grade, I think it was grade 1 calf strain. I mean, his Achilles must have been very close to falling off the bone. But with that being said, Bulls, again, Jaden Ivey will be out, Anthony Simons will be out, Jalen Smith will be out, and even Patrick Williams is doubtful. With that being said, you're going to have Josh Giddey. You're going to see a lot of Colin Sexton, Buzelis, and Yabusele. On the Portland side, yes, Dan Viavia is going to be out, and you do have Sharon Sharp, who has been out for some time. But even with that, the sum of the means of Portland is just simply greater here. I mean, you have a Portland team that, yes, in the West, very competitive conference. They always middle out, but a Western Conference team is no joke whatsoever. I mean, we saw in the first half yesterday, OKC very much well had a lot of people in doubt that the Pistons were going to win that game, but of course they pulled through in the second half. In the case of Portland, they're not missing as much players, cogs of their team, Danny Avia, but yes, he's been very volatile in terms of his participation in the last month or so. Shaden Sharp, I think it's been going on 2 weeks now. This Portland team has kind of found a way to figure it out. I mean, and when we look at the spots that they've been in recently, we can ignore that Denver game where they lost by 54 points. But the most recent game against the Timberwolves, no Denny Avia, no Shaden Sharp, they hung with them very much well for the majority of that game. This was originally going to be a Drew Holiday play. I was going to go for the PRA, honestly. I still might love the PRA, but shit, I do not love the PRA. I think it's 30. I'm sorry for the unprofessionalism there, but this is a PRA that's normally at 27.5, 28.5 at most, 26.5. Let's be honest. I think in the video last week, it was 24.5 for minus 120. If I were going to try to attack a player side, maybe Kamara at that point. What's his points and rebounds? Points and rebounds, 22.5. Jesus Christ. They really think this is going to be a blowout. Donovan Clingan, can I get his points and rebounds? So if his points and rebounds is like 27.5, that shit's kind of chalked. Wow. Yeah, just take the spread. Don't try to mess too much or trying to get a player prop in this. This can be a blowout. I mean, we've seen what happened last game against the Hornets. I mean, the bane of my existence. The Bulls, yes, they did decent against the Knicks, but again, I think that was the Knicks on the end of a road trip. Still won. They still pulled through and beat them. Um, but the most recent game against the Hornets, funny enough, I'd say ignore the 50-point blowout for the Trailblazers against the Nuggets, but the Nuggets are a contender. I'm not going to ignore this 131 to 99-point blowout from the Charlotte Hornets. Again, maybe it's because of my fetish of the Hornets, but again, this Chicago Bulls team is very thin. They still have 20 guards. I just don't see where they cover 4.5 points in a spread where this needs to be a competitive game for a team that isn't really competing. Josh Giddey, again, this could just be the renaissance game for him, but still, I would have to hype it. I would have to placate an under for him. I mean, this is the same Portland team that a couple weeks ago we saw what they did to Ty Jerome. While granted Giddey might be getting more minutes than Ty Jerome, he's still coming back from a huge injury setback. I mean, are his minutes locked in? 25, 24. Yeah, for Josh Giddey to get 30 PR, I mean, just because there's so many people out. Again, don't mess around too much with it. Just take the spread before this gets out of hand. I can definitely see this closing at 5.5 points. I mean, what did it open at? Open at 4. I can definitely see this going to 5.5 by closing, to be honest. Get it in early. And to cap it off, we are going to take the New Orleans Pelicans minus 3.5. It's moved now to 4.5 for how much now? My fairly even odds. Like I said, I got this on the score from minus 120, or was it 125 when I get it on? We have minus 125. I'm not opposed to if you want to take the 5-point spread. Let's just go into detail with it. I mean, really not much detail you can say. You have a Utah Jazz team where their starters, even if they are ahead, may very well not play the fourth quarter at all. Against a Pelicans team, very, very up and down this season, but they can't really tank for picks. They're middling out. You just have them kind of pick their spots where they want to dominate. I mean, back-to-back wins against the Warriors and 76ers definitely have to make you kind of raise your eyebrows a little bit. Again, not a tanking team, just an objectively bad team against a team that is collectively tanking. Lauri Markkanen, this questionable tag is going to change to doubtful because he picked up an injury in training. I mean, if we look at what the RotoWire report was, he picked up a right ankle and right hip injury, and he's going to get an MRI today. If you're getting an MRI, you're more likely than not going to play, especially in a matchup like this. Keontae George, when was the last time he played a game? Keontae George hasn't played since Orlando. We're going to see Isaiah Collier, Bryce Sensabaugh matchup again. Pelicans, I'm not going to write home and say that they're a dark horse or going to blow them out of the water, but this is definitely, the market is definitely reacting already to the spread. It's at 4.5 now. You have a DeJounte Murray back in the lineup, which is what I really am interested to see. First game back, 24 minutes. Stayed out of foul trouble. 11 shots. I like it. He's attacking. He's attacking the rim. The assists, that's a crazy high number. 6 assists. Why is that open? I mean, he got 10 potential assists, of course. What's his rebounds and assists? That shit like 11.5. 10.5 rebounds and assists. For DeJounte Murray, his first game back, PRA 24.5. I love DeJounte Murray as a player. When he was at the Hawks and the Spurs, I loved betting on him. Pelicans Murray, we haven't seen much of him, but we know what he can do when he's healthy. Reminiscent of Kevin Porter Jr. in a way, but much more of a lockdown defender. It will be very interesting to see in the future how this Pelicans team wants to build around these cogs that they have, and Jeremiah Fears, Murray, Zion, Derek Queen. But again, right now, the spread of 4.5 points, I mean 3.5. I honestly am starting to buy into the 4.5 points now, which I don't mind if you take. This is a Utah team that isn't really playing for much. Um, Even when they do win, they're kind of games that I don't want to say they should, but it's kind of just it's a shock. It's kind of a shock to the system. I mean, when we look at the last 20 games, how many games have they won? They've only beat the Pacers, they've beat the Kings, they shocked the Heat, shocked the Timberwolves, and shocked the Cavaliers. But again, those are far and few in between. There's just so many blowouts, not even sprinkled. There's so many blowouts sandwiched in between. I I don't know. I mean, if you want to do a safe water down, you could just take Pelicans money line, Trailblazers money line. I don't know why on earth Chicago's plus 168. That's just a trap. And then if you're concerned about this getting out of hand, you can just take the Spurs minus 12.5. That would just be the water down, because I think that would just be the path of least resistance, in terms of which, if Castle doesn't get his points and assists, it's due to it being a blowout. Um, Chicago could be very well sneaky and come and backdoor us with a 3-pointer at the end to just win by 4 or lose by 4. Jazz, I mean, again, they typically, I mean, they try. The second unit tries a lot. I mean, you have Isaiah Collier going for the NBA record in assist on any given night. They still get blown out, but again, if you want to get some insurance, you can just take the money lines, I suppose. I mean, what would that be in terms of a parlay? Um, Take Portland money line, and then if we go and take Castle points and assist. Oh no, we are going to go with the spread, since we're yeah, you can get a minus 350, minus 350 DraftKings, 340 FanDuel. 350 is across the board on books. If you want to, you can. I wouldn't be opposed to it. If you have prediction apps, none of those have that yet. Profit X, what would Profit X have as? But yeah, I mean, I guess the water down would be Spurs spread, Pelicans money line, and the Trailblazers money line. But the props are Stefan Castle, points and assist, Trailblazers spread, Pelicans spread. If you're still watching this after 22 minutes, I really do appreciate it. If you could like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you're rocking with today. Tell me what you're not rocking with from the card, what you yourself are personally playing. Like I always say, help me, help you, help make us some money. The engagement, again, I guess that just comes down to consistency and maybe a little bit more of luck on my side in terms of the props that I hit. I do notice probably a bit of a production quality aspect that I need to increase on more. I do have one of my friends, which I greatly appreciate. He's making some thumbnails for me now to at least add a little bit of ambiance to it. Maybe I'll try to find a way to get more of a graphic going with the spreadsheets instead of it just being a Google Sheets. I do know that I do have most of my viewers are friends, but I do catch some stragglers here and there. So I guess this part does come out to you if you're someone that doesn't know me in the personal life or the 9 to 5, or you're my neighbor that gambles. And if you just somehow stumbled across this page, if you do watch from time to time, or if this is your first time watching, could you give me some feedback, please? If is there something about the picks that aren't good? I mean, I know objectively on the precipice of 2 losing weeks back to back, that isn't the best audition that I have, but I've tried to work on things in terms of getting rid of the background music. I've tried to work with lowering it. It was drowning me out too much, so now it's just my voice. I guess, I don't know, critique me beyond the picks, or critique the picks as well. Critique the channel. I really would appreciate any feedback to try to help this grow. And
help us grow our bankroll. To kind of go into detail what my plans are with this, I don't really see my or conceive the thought of me turning this into a Discord or a pay for picks thing. Um, this is very generous and it very may well be extremely wishful and gullible thinking. I want this to be based on a tip base or a gratuity based thing. I mean, if I over any sample size, or if we finally sweep or have a couple of luck with the water downs, if we hit a couple of parlays, I mean, again, I'm not doing this to get rich. Like prefaced this at the start of the series. This is more of an accountability thing for me. If I can sit down and try to articulate and defend the bets that I put in, it makes me feel more confident and more, I guess, less in doubt about what I put in. And I don't feel as if I'm throwing as many darts on the board. But at the same time, I mean, if you're still taking 25 minutes out of your day, 30 minutes on any given day time that I release these videos to listen to me ramble, I appreciate it. I want to help you. I mean, like I always say, help you, help me, help us make some money. But I really do genuinely mean it. Tell me what you like to bet. Tell me what books you have. Maybe you only have prediction apps. I'm only doing sports books. But if I have to go into a no vig or an underdog, I don't mind doing that to try to see if maybe I can get some pick'em cards out for you guys. But with that being said, please gamble responsibly today. Gamble what you can afford to lose. Gamble what you're willing to lose. Um, Please play these as straights primarily. If you're gonna parlay them, play them as straights first. Parlay the water down, parlay the straights together. 7 and 9 on the week. I know, not the best. I mean, last 2 weeks haven't been too hot. But again, we're coming off of 2 very strong weeks. We are, again, it's all about any large sample size. Let's not think about the coulda, shoulda, wouldas or look at the past. We have every chance. I can come on here tomorrow and we're looking at a 10 and 9 week and it's a positive week and we can do our State of the Union, start the State of the Union and are all good. But with that being said, please have a blessed day and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.